Hello, I am Annette Rugolo. I'm a master dowser and I've been teaching diamond dowsing courses since 2006. And I really love and passionate about changing the vibration of people's homes, offices, and even of the land. So this method was created by Marie Diamond. So the name Diamond Dowsing. And it's unlike any other dowsing I have seen out there that I have known about. So this actually uses light frequencies to uplift the energy of spaces. So before we go into the details about what we douse for, I really want to start with helping you understand the three levels of the law of attraction. So these three levels are heavenly, human, and environmental luck. So this is based on the Chinese. They refer to luck as we create our own luck. So every aspect, every level of this law of attraction affects our law of attraction by 1/3. So let's talk about first the heavenly luck. So the heavenly luck is based on our soul, our spirit. So our soul, before we incarnate, chooses our parents, chooses our community, chooses our experiences we are ready to have. And our soul comes in with both dharma and karma. So I always like to describe karma as anything that creates a separation from the field of oneness. So a lot of times we need to forgive ourselves or others. Um, Usually the karmic experiences or people recognize karma as I've done something to somebody else in a past life, and now I'm going to get that back. But that's very few instances of that. So it's all about forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others for any separation that has occurred in the field of oneness. So we all come in with dharma. These are lifetimes that we have created more light than karma. So we have spiritual gifts that we come in with. And when we start recognizing our spiritual gifts, connecting with our spiritual gifts, we amplify our light, our service to humanity. So this is part of what the inner diamond teaches. It's a meditation practice that helps you clear your karma, helps you connect with your soul in a bigger way, and really helps you fulfill what you're here to do on a soul level. All right. So on a human level, this is another 1/3 of our law of attraction. Everything we do on a human level increases our law of attraction. So for instance, if we go to school, get educated, and it helps us get a better job. We work out, it keeps us fit, energized, we eat right. Everything we do on that human level creates our law of attraction on this level. We feel better, we are more engaged, we get better jobs, and we fulfill our purpose on a human level. We're energized and really connected in with that level. So the environmental level is what we're going to be talking about in this recording, in this class. So the environmental level is something that is opening up to a lot of people these days. They feel the energy of their spaces, they feel the energy of their homes, and people are beginning to get sensitized to these energies. And maybe you've walked into a space and instantly felt something was off. So before I took the Diamond Dowsing class, I actually thought it was my energy that was creating the energy I felt in spaces. And after taking the Diamond Dowsing class, I realized it was the energy of the space. And it was not something that I was creating. So Diamond Dowsing helps you tune into and realize that there are energies in a space that are not supportive to you. Okay. Sometimes you walk into a space and you feel uplifted and light. So that's might be created by a positive vortex, but other times you walk into a space and you feel depleted, instantly depleted. So we're understanding that the environmental law of attraction is affecting 1/3 of our law of attraction. So I like to create a diagram, an image of this. So this is all 3 levels of the law of attraction: heavenly, human, environmental. And where these intersect, I call it the sweet spot. So in this sweet spot, if we're not doing anything on a spiritual level, human level, environmental level, it's the sweet spot is really, really tiny. So this is the energy of the universe that's coming into your life. So even if you're doing spiritual work, human work, but you're missing that environmental piece, it's still that sweet spot is still really low. So it's really small here, okay? So when we focus on all 3 levels and bring these 3 levels closer together, that sweet spot opens up really amazing. So all of this universal energy that we're aligned with and open to comes into our lives, and it changes our law of attraction on all of these different levels. Okay. So I wanted to start by sharing this information about how the environmental law of attraction has affected your life, right? So let's go into talking about what we dowse for. So in the Diamond Dowsing program, we dowse for positive vortexes, negative vortexes, geopathic stress, interference lines, negative Hartman-Curry lines. So we're going to be talking about each of these different aspects of what we dowse for. So we're going to start by talking about positive and negative vortexes. So positive and negative vortexes are created by ley lines in the etheric field. So these ley lines as they cross at a perfect 90-degree angle, they create positive, uplifting energy. So if you've ever traveled, connected with places like Stonehenge, Avebury, Glastonbury, the Tour in England, Sedona, Machu Picchu, there are so many positive places on this planet that have this beautiful energy. And it's based on these ley lines crossing in a perfect 90-degree angle. So you might visit those places, feel totally uplifted, inspired, creative, energized in a beautiful, beautiful way. So I remember talking to a few people that have visited these places, and they had that wonderful, expansive experience. And then they came home, and it was like the faucet got shut off. It was, everything was gone, everything closed off. So what we're understanding right now is that we need this energy in our own homes. We can have this energy in our homes that keep us uplifted, inspired, creative, and expansive, right? So the other thing that happened in, this was in Europe specifically, but there are cathedrals built before the 1400s that anchored these ley lines. And when they built cathedrals, they first found these beautiful positive vortexes. And in these cathedrals, they anchored these ley lines and solidified these ley lines. So every time, so there's cathedrals again in Europe, built before the 1400s, St. Michael's, St. Paul's Cathedral in London. There's many, many cathedrals built before the 1400s in Europe that hold this beautiful positive energy for us. And you can walk into that cathedral, and it's at the center where the cross points meet. If you look at a cathedral, it's elongated, and then there's a cross area, and in the center of that area, there's this beautiful positive energy, and you can go and stand in it, feel the energy of that positive vortex. So sometimes um, sometimes people have a positive vortex in their own home. So every time I douse a house, the first thing I do is find the positive vortex. And I ask always if there is a positive vortex in the house. And if not, if so, I find it for them. Sometimes people have one or even two positive vortexes in their home. So I like to show the people in the home where their positive vortexes are. So these are places that people love to be. Just like Sedona, Stonehenge, people gravitate to this energy. And a lot of times, the positive vortexes are in a kitchen or at a front door, and that's where people love to gather. So there's a beautiful dining room in the home, but people always gather in the kitchen. And that's because they gravitate to this beautiful positive energy. So, and sometimes when I talk to the people, if they have a positive vortex at their front door, it's interesting because the guests that leave, well, they'll stand there for like 30, 45 minutes before they leave the house. And that's because they are soaking up this beautiful positive energy. And they love to be in this energy. So the other thing I would say to notice, so dogs need this positive energy to absorb, and they bring the positive energy to the people in the house. So if your dog tends to gravitate to an area that might be a positive vortex. So I've doused other homes that the positive vortex is actually in the closet. And when I talk to the people, they share with me that that's actually where their dog loves to be, in the closet. And they couldn't understand why their dog loved to be in the closet. So, so now they know. All right. So, dogs love and need to absorb that energy of the positive vortex. So, if you have a positive vortex in your house, pay attention to where people gravitate to. So just really notice that. And if there's one area in your house that people gravitate to, that's probably a positive vortex. Okay. So negative vortexes. So negative vortexes are ley lines in the etheric field that cross, so they're out of a perfect 90-degree angle. So based on where they cross, this would be a small negative vortex. It's out of balance, just like a few degrees. So the larger the angle of these ley lines, the stronger that positive vortex will be. So negative vortexes, if they're in a home, especially if they're in a bedroom, they will create nightmares, night terrors, and the people, especially children, that experience the negative vortex in their bedroom, when I ask them their favorite color, it's always black. And that's because this negative vortex goes counterclockwise and takes us into a very dark place. So after I learned how to dowse, I had a 4-year-old grandson who recently moved into a new house, and he started having terrible tantrums. He didn't want to go to bed at night. So my daughter ended up taking him to a child psychologist, a doctor, and all they could tell her was, I can put him on medicine, but there's nothing else I can do for him. So she was really resistant of putting him on a medication. So a few months later, I learned how to dowse, and the first house I dowsed was hers. So my daughter is also very sensitive to the energy. So she was really curious what I would find. So the first thing, I always check for a positive vortex first. I found a positive vortex in her kitchen. And again, This is where all the people gathered in her kitchen, and she loved the energy of her kitchen. So the next thing I doused for was a negative vortex. And I found a negative vortex in my grandson's room. So that explained the tantrums, not willing to go to bed. And after curing that negative vortex, the tantrums dissipated. He loved going to bed. I changed that negative vortex into a positive vortex. So as you learn how to douse, you will learn how to do that as well. So it's really important that we have the dowsing technique to take care of the energy of your own house, your brother's house, sister's house, your family's house. So one of the things Marie always said is if there was a dowser in every family, this world would definitely shift and be more uplifted. Okay. So I was really grateful to have this dowsing technique to help my grandson. So sometimes children, especially at the age of 4, can't tell you what's going on, but the only way he can let us know what was happening was through his terrible tantrums. So once that negative vortex was cured, the tantrums went away. So that was amazing, amazing. So there are, I would say also, think about rooms that nobody goes into. So a lot of times when I'm invited to douse a house, the person on the other end says, I want to have my house doused, but I'm embarrassed of this one room. So as I go into this one room, I find that there's a negative vortex. And I tell the person on the other end of the phone that there's something energetically going on in that room because they can't go in it. So when I go to the house, the people will explain to me that they go in with the intention of cleaning up the room. It attracts a lot of clutter sometimes, but as they go into that room, it's like their brain waves go into a beta brainwave and they get tired, they get a headache, they're in there for 10 minutes and they're so tired by after 10 minutes that they have to leave. So I always explain to them, it's not them, it's the energy of the space. And so every time I go into that space, there is usually a negative vortex or a lot of geopathic stress. So we'll talk about that next. But there's something energetically going on in that space that doesn't allow them to really focus and clean up the energy of that space. Okay. So those are negative vortexes. And sometimes when you have a negative vortex, that is the place where people avoid. If somebody is sleeping in a negative vortex, again, they're having bad dreams, nightmares, night terrors. They're reacting in some way to that energy of that negative vortex. Okay. So through the Diamond Dowsing program, we identify these negative vortexes and we're able to cure them, either neutralize them or create a positive vortex by shifting the energy of the ley lines to really create a positive vortex. Okay. So next, I want to talk about geopathic stress. So when I took the dowsing class in 2005, I became certified to teach in 2006. But I first took the dowsing class from Marie Diamond in 2005. So in the class, there was a woman. Oh, let me go back. So on the first day of the class, we learned how to find and cure geopathic stress lines. So we were instructed to go home that night and to find geopathic stress in our bedrooms, not in our entire house yet, but just our bedrooms. So the next morning, we were sharing what we found, and one of the women shared her experience. So she had moved into a house with her husband in 15 years before the class. So as after she moved in, she started having headaches that turned into migraines. And she went to so many healers, doctors, trying to figure out how to heal these migraines. So when she cured her geopathic stress in her bedrooms, she found a geopathic stress going through her body this way, another geopathic stress going this way, and these geopathic stress crossed under her bed, under her pillow. So she cured the geopathic stress the night before, and she woke up the next morning without a headache for the first time in 15 years. And she was blown away, as we were all blown away. So geopathic stress, if it's crossing your bed, it will influence an area of your body. So I've had some clients that geopathic stress crossed their stomach. They had stomach problems. If they crossed the neck, they had neck problems. So any time you're sleeping in geopathic stress, it depletes your immune system. It has, you have an inability to heal from any surgeries, any accidents. So another time I went in and doused a couple's home, and he had a geopathic stress line crossing the leg. So whoever this geopathic stress, whoever it hits first, absorbs that energy of the geopathic stress. So the next person doesn't, it doesn't affect as much. So obviously it affected her. So, so wherever the geopathic stress hits the body first, the person first, it absorbs that geopathic stress energy. So I found a geopathic stress crossing the bed at the bottom of the bed, and the person, the man, the husband, was sleeping on that side of the bed, and it crossed his leg. So I asked him what was going on with his leg, because something had to be going on. And he said, "Oh, nothing's going on." So the wife shared with me that um, that something had been going on. He didn't want to admit it. So apparently, 18 months before I came into Taos, he had a tattoo. So that tattoo, it was on the bottom of his leg, on his calf, and it had gotten infected. It wasn't healing. And after 18 months, it still hadn't healed. So the geopathic stress that crossed his leg he wasn't able to heal this tattoo. So I called back a few weeks later, and after curing the geopathic stress, people he ended up healing his tattoo. The tattoo was finally healing. Okay. So if some people are really affected by geopathic stress, they feel that energy, especially young children, babies. So if there is geopathic stress in their cribs or their beds, they will move away from that geopathic stress. And sometimes there's there you find them in a corner of the bed, or a place in the bed that's not doesn't look very comfortable, but they are sensitive, they're aware of this energy, and they move away from it. So sometimes people, if there's a lot of geopathic stress in their room, they resist going to bed. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, move to another space, a couch. So they're not comfortable in it. So by curing geopathic stress, it creates a space that you can relax and heal as you go to sleep. The other thing with geopathic stress is there are ants, spiders, mosquitoes that love to follow geopathic stress. And this is based on, again, ancient knowledge. And the Druids in England and Europe would find geopathic stress and avoid geopathic stress, not build their homes on geopathic stress, but they would create walking paths and trails, roads that are over geopathic stress. So when we're moving on geopathic stress, they found out that they were more energized, they didn't need as much food or water, and they could walk longer and with little effort. So ants, spiders, and mosquitoes have found that's the same thing. So when they're traveling on geopathic stress lines, if they go through your house, it's like they're just following geopathic stress. So a lot of times when I cure geopathic stress in the yard, I like to do it on the property, or even in the house if you don't have a property. That the curing of that geopathic stress stops the ants from coming into the house. So it's so amazing. It takes care of the ant problems. Before my house was doused, and I had 5 geopathic stress lines, I used to carry out spiders all the time. I couldn't kill them, but my husband said that the spiders that I carried out were just coming back, right back in the house, right? So, yeah, probably. But after I had the geopathic stress lines cured, the spiders were gone, right? So there are also trees that soak up the energy of geopathic stress. These are evergreens. And if a young tree is placed in a geopathic stress line, it usually dies. It's not strong enough to withstand the energy of geopathic stress. So I always um, I always encourage people to look at their property, look at their yard, and see if there's evergreens. And when the evergreens are planted on geopathic stress lines, they grow 5 times as fast as other evergreens. So a lot of times people will plant evergreen next to their house, and it's humongous in like 3, 4 or 5 years. So look at your yard, and you can detect geopathic stress if trees, the regular trees, are not doing well, or evergreens are twice the size, 3 times the size as normal. Okay. So wanted to give you that information about geopathic stress lines. So interference lines. So interference lines are created by cell phone towers, radio towers, satellite dishes, and this energy, the frequency, comes into our house through windows, openings, skylights, and I call it bouncing off the wall energy. So when it's like a fly gets in the house, and it's like it goes all over the place, right? So so when we have an opportunity to clear these interference lines, and a lot of times when I work with somebody dowsing their house, after curing the interference lines, they didn't realize how agitated they were by these interference lines. And afterwards, they just felt calmer. So one time I doused a house, and this couple had a beautiful office space surrounded by 3 windows, 3-sided windows. And I complimented on this beautiful office. And the guy said that was his office, but he never worked in there. And when I feel interference line energy, I instantly get a headache. So I walked into the office, and it was instant headache. And it's like something was going on in this office. So I knew instantly it was interference lines. So I doused for how many interference lines there were in this office. And because there were windows on 3 sides of this office, there were 9 interference lines in this office alone. So I cured them, and I had the man walk in with me, and I didn't feel a headache anymore. And he really felt the difference of the energy of his office. So, so he had this beautiful office, but he always sat somewhere else to do his work. So he couldn't actually use his office, which is so sad. So, cell phone towers will affect everybody in the house. If there is a cell phone tower within 5 miles, you will be affected by that energy of the cell phone tower. So, yeah, it affects us for 5 miles. Satellite dishes, radio towers, all of this energy will send frequencies or signals into our space. And again, it's like it creates interference, sometimes interference with relationships, success, abundance. It creates conflict sometime. If there's so much interference energy in the house, it can actually create conflict. So it's really important to clear this energy. And over the years, I've seen more and more people becoming sensitive to these interference lines. So it does affect us if we're aware of it or not. Um, so, um, so the other thing, next thing I want to talk about is something called negative Hartman and Curry lines. So negative Hartman and Curry lines, um, let's go back. So in about 1930, there was a Dr. Hartman that found that there was a natural flow of energy moving from north to south, east to west. So this was really good, positive energy. And then 3 years later, Dr. Curry comes along and finds that there are diagonal flows of energy going from northeast to southwest, southeast to northwest. So these are really good positive flows of energy. But when we started putting electricity in our homes, if there's an outlet or a circuit breaker that is on one of these Hartman or Curry lines, that line, that energy picks up the current of the electricity and sends it through the entire house. And especially if you're working or sleeping in that energy, it negatively affects you. It affects your nervous system. I've had people experiencing ADHD when they have so many negative Hartman Curry lines in their home. And especially if you're working in your home all day. So many people are now working from home, obviously. So if you're working in this energy, even geopathic stress lines, interference lines, negative Hartman Curry lines, or possibly sitting in a negative vortex all day, it is definitely going to affect you. So curing all of these energies is really important. Okay. So I want to show you the tools that we use to cure these energy lines. So these are the cures. Let me get them out for you. So each of these cures cure some of these lines. Okay. So the violet cure, so before I go on, all of these cures are activated with the intention of curing one of these lines. Okay. So they're also doubly activated with light frequencies. So these light frequencies are quantum frequencies, quantum energies, and this is what brings up the energy of your house. So let me share a story real quick. So sometimes people see or feel this energy as I'm dowsing. So a few years ago, I dowsed a home, and there were 3 geopathic stress lines on the right side of her backyard. And if possible, I always like to cure geopathic stress line on the perimeter of the property. So the next day, this woman had a friend over, and she was looking out the patio door in the backyard, and she told this woman, she said, "Do you know that you have 3 huge blue angels protecting your yard?" So this woman could see this blue energy. So as we cure these individual lines, we are bringing in and anchoring to the earth these beautiful vibrations. So these beautiful light that we're pulling in and anchoring to the earth. So, um, so this is what brings up the energy of the house. So it's not about just curing these lines. It's about bringing in high vibrational energies to anchor in and bring up the energy of the house. And that's amazing, amazing. So these are all the cures to douse the house. So the blue cure is curing geopathic stress. The yellow cure is curing interference lines. The emerald green cure is curing negative Hartman-Curry. And I didn't talk about this, but there are also personal lines, and the red cure cures personal energy lines. And it's kind of like interference lines, but it's personal to you, okay? And then the violet cure, purple cure, cures negative and negative vortexes, okay? So then the other tool we have are, of course, the dowsing rods. So the dowsing rods, we're going to go into a meditation shortly to help you connect with something called your quantum point. And as you connect with this quantum point, you are outside of your personality. You are connected in with the quantum field. So this is, as you continue to practice, this gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And you don't, your questions, the answers to your questions don't come from your personality body, but from the universe. Okay. So your dowsing rods, these are activated as well. So your dowsing rods, you're going to learn how to activate your dowsing rods, and you will learn a yes, no. So this is yes, and this is no. They're not moving. Okay. So these are the tools that you will receive if you choose to download and register for the Diamond Dowsing program. Okay. All right. So let's try this. And I'm going to take you into the tubes of light. So the tubes of light is important. So let me explain this drawing. So we have a physical body, we have an etheric body, an emotional body, a lower mental body. So we're going to go into a meditation that connects us to our quantum point. So from our quantum point, we have access to the quantum field. So we have access to all of these beautiful frequencies. So the first color we're going to call in is the royal blue. And the royal blue is a fifth dimensional frequency that filters out lower vibrational energy from our field. So this is really, really important as we douse. And it's really important to not pick up other people's energy. Okay. The next color we're going to call in is the rose light. And the rose light, every time I douse, I call in the rose light and ask for support and guidance as I'm dowsing. I get insight sometimes, get inspiration of what to look for. So the rose light calls in your angels, your spirit guides, all the beings of light who are here to support you. So the violet light, where it's coming up from beneath your feet, and the violet light continually cleanses your aura field, your physical body, your aura field, whatever needs to be released. So I always like to propose that people try this tubes of light meditation for a week and notice the changes that happen for you as you protect yourself, call in this beautiful support that's available to us, and cleanse yourself with the violet light. Okay. So I'm going to take you into a meditation, very quick meditation, to call in these frequencies and connect you with your quantum point. Right. So with your eyes closed, feet connected to the floor, from above your head, visualize crystalline white light. And bring this crystalline white light into your physical body, your etheric body, your emotional body, and your lower mental body. This is universal prana that cleanses, calms, quiets, balances your personality body. And this is an important aspect of dowsing, because we're not dowsing from our personality body. we have to quiet our personality body in order to connect with the quantum field. And bringing your awareness up to your quantum point, now you have access to these beautiful light frequencies. And the first one to call in is the royal blue light around and beneath you. And it's like you're sitting in a royal blue tulip. And this fifth dimensional energy is filtering out all of the lower vibrational energy from around you. Bringing your awareness back to your quantum point. Call in the rose light around and beneath the royal blue. Send the rose light out into the universe. And as you send the rose light out into the universe, you are connecting with all of the unconditional love and support of the universe. And this is where you can call in your angels, your spirit guides, your spiritual teachers. We have so much support with us right now. We just need to connect with it. And from beneath your feet, bring in the violet light. And as you bring in the violet light, it's filling your physical body, your aura field. Bring it up over your head. And each time you bring in this violet light, it is releasing anything that is ready to be released. Beautiful. And we finalize the meditation by calling in the gold light and visualize a golden dome over you, touching the floor around you. And as you call in the gold light, it amplifies the energy that you have called in. And holding your awareness at your quantum point, rub your hands together. Bring the palms of your hands in front of your eyes. Slowly open your eyes. Come back into your space. So that is an important aspect of learning how to dowse. It's really important to connect with your quantum point. And as you connect with your quantum point, it balances your right-left brain. And as you continue to dowse, because your dowsing rods will show you what's out of balance as well. So if you're asking a question and one rod opens and the other doesn't, the left hand is connected with the right brain, and the right hand is connected with the right brain, the left brain. So you can see where your brain waves are out of balance. But as you continue to connect with your quantum point, both dowsing rods will open at the same time. Okay. So, all right. So Thank you for your interest in the diamond dowsing. And I hope you learned something from what I shared with you tonight. And I hope you understand more about what diamond dowsing is and how unique, especially diamond dowsing is. So I have a downloadable program that you can download, purchase. The program comes with a bundle of cures, your dowsing rods, and it's self-guided. And as you go through the program, you will be able to ask an unlimited amount of questions. Just send me your questions to Annette at AnnetteRugolo.com. And like I said earlier, it's really important to understand this um, this third level of the law of attraction. And so many people are now being aware and sensitive to the energy of their homes. And as you learn how to douse, you not only help yourself, but your entire family. So thank you again for your interest in diamond dowsing, and I hope to see you soon.